individuals have been forcibly returned to their countries of origin, often into the hands of the very regimes they were fleeing from. This practice directly contravenes the principle of non-refoulement, a cornerstone of international refugee law, which prohibits the return of individuals to countries where they face threats to their life, liberty, or freedom. These deportations are not only unlawful, they are morally indefensible and a stain on the region's human rights record. Thank you. My name is Walid from Mombasa, and I'll be reading a statement regarding the illegal cross-border deportations and violation of non-refoulement. We are particularly disturbed by the emerging and illegal practices of cross-border deportations of dissidents and human rights defenders within East Africa. In several recent cases, individuals have been forcibly returned to their countries of origin, often into the hands of the very regimes they were fleeing from. This practice directly contravenes the principle of non-refoulement, a cornerstone of international refugee law, which prohibits the return of individuals to countries where they face threats to their life, liberty, or freedom. These deportations are not only unlawful, they are morally indefensible and a stain on the region's human rights record. Thank you.
Viva Africans, viva! Viva! Viva Africans, viva! Viva! So as you've heard, my name is Njoki Gashanja. I am the coordinator at the Rai Social Justice Center, and we have been part of this training that has brought comrades from Tanzania, Uganda, and here in Kenya, and we have a statement. We, community and grassroots human rights defenders and civil society actors from Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania have been meeting in Nairobi over the past 3 days for a series of in-depth trainings, strategic engagements, and collective reflection on the growing threats to human rights in our region. This gathering has provided us with an urgent space to confront the alarming escalation of state-sanctioned repression and to affirm our shared commitment to justice, dignity, and human freedom. Today, we address the public and the media through this press conference to first raise alarm about the drastically deteriorating state of human rights in East Africa, and secondly, to call for regional and international in defending the civic space under aggressive assault. Across Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, we are witnessing a coordinated and deliberate campaign to restrict fundamental freedoms, dismantle civil society, and silence dissent. Civic space, the very oxygen of democracy, is being suffocated through draconian laws, intimidation, surveillance, and state violence. In Kenya, in a disturbing resurgence of enforced disappearance and extrajudicial killings, especially targeting youth, outspoken activists, whistleblowers, and critics of state security agencies. In the last 3 months, killings and disappearance of Brian Odhiambo, Ibrahim Ramadan, Dennis Mudhui, as well as Form 3 student Musa Kibet by state operatives are clear evidence of the deteriorating situation. In Uganda, the abductions and illegal detention of government critics, student leaders, and members of the opposition have become normalized. Dozens of young activists associated with the National Unity Platform have gone missing or have been found in torture chambers after being seized in broad daylight. These acts are carried out with impunity in a country where the rule of law has been systematically undermined. Despite the Ugandan Supreme Court, Supreme Court ruling for civilian cases not to be heard in military courts, most prisoners are still detained under military courts, and their cases have not been transferred to civilian courts. In Tanzania, activists and opposition voices continue to operate in a climate of fear. The disappearance of scores of youth, including Dew Soccer, remain unresolved. Further, the brutal killing of activist Ali Kibao, whose badly mutilated body was found at the ocean shore in Dar es Salaam, is a grim reminder that freedom of expression and assembly remain under siege. These violations are not isolated incidents. They are systemic patterns that point to the erosion of democratic institutions and the growing intolerance of dissent across the region.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Muro, a human rights and social justice activist from Tanzania. I will continue on the targeting of opposition leaders and the political persecution. The criminalization of political opposition is a dangerous trend taking root in all three countries. Recent weeks have seen a troubling spike in harassments, arrests, and the persecution of opposition leaders, often under the guise of public order or anti-terrorism laws. In Kenya, opposition leaders have been repeatedly summoned, harassed, or detained for addressing public rallies or criticizing government corruption. In Uganda, opposition figure Dr. Kiza Besigye was once again arrested on trumped-up charges, while youth leaders from the NUP continue to languish in jail without trial. In Tanzania, opposition leader Tundu Antipas Lissu has been arrested for demanding reforms before elections. In Kenya, government critics continue to be attacked by those who operate clearly with protection of state security agencies. Across the region, opposition politicians are increasingly having their political rights violated by surveillance and arbitrary bans on their public activities. As human rights defenders and activists, we demand the immediate and unconstitutional release of all political prisoners and detained opposition leaders. Their persecution is not only unlawful, but a betrayal of the democratic ideals enshrined in our constitutions and international commitments. Thank you. I welcome my fellow to contribute.
Down with impunity, down.
Down.
Down with the dictators, down.
Down.
Down with the dictators, down.
Down.
Down with Museveni, down.
Down.
Down with Samia, down.
Down.
Down with Ruto, down.
Down. Tuko tayari, dhuluma zikija na sote tuko tayari. Kanyaga, 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 kanyaga na sote tuko tayari. Kanyaga, 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 kanyaga na sote tuko tayari. tutashinda.
Wapende wasipende.
Tutashinda.
Wapende wasipende.
Ni lazima tutashinda.
Yes, my name is George Victor Otieno, a social justice and democracy activist from Uganda. And I'm here to issue a statement to call upon regional solidarity and joint action. In the face of the deeply concerning trends, we activists from Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, reaffirm our collective resolve to work together to protect human rights, defend civic space, and expose violations across the region. We will not be divided by borders, intimidated by threats, or silenced by repression. Together, as activists across East Africa, we pledge to, number one, monitor and document all forms of human rights violations, including extrajudicial killings, abductions, and enforced disappearances. To build cross-border networks to support at-risk activists and victims of repression. To hold our governments accountable through advocacy, litigation, and regional mechanism. To amplify the voices of victims and mobilize support for justice and reforms in the East African region. We call upon the East African community, African Union, and the broader international community to take urgent action to protect civic space in our region. The silence and inaction of regional and international bodies only emboldens those who violate the rights and freedoms of the citizens of East Africa.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Karen Wamboyo Manga. I'm the convener Nyando Social Justice in Kisumu County, a veteran human rights defender from Kenya. In conclusion, human rights defenders play a vital role in promoting justice, accountability, and freedom, often at their personal risk. Their safety and protection must be prioritized to ensure that human rights are upheld and voices of change are not silenced. As we conclude, we communicate this clearly to our governments, that is Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania as represented here, and the people of our region at large, that we will not stand by as fear and repression become normalized in East Africa. The lives and freedoms of millions depend on our ability to speak out, to organize, and to act in defense of our shared humanity. And now, the call to action is now. The time for solidarity is now. The time to reclaim East Africa's civic space is now. Viva comrades, viva!
Viva!
Viva comrades, viva!
Viva!
Nazakayo asikie.
Nazakayo asikie.
Nasamia asikie.
Nasamia asikie.
Museveni asikie.
Museveni asikie. Afrika tumeungana. Ayoma, ayomama. Ayoma, ayomama. Ayoma, ayomama. Ayoma, ayomama. Ayoma, ayomama. Ayoma, ayomama. Nakasongo asikie. Nakasongo asikie. Museveni asikie. Museveni asikie. Samia pia asikie. Samia asikie. Afrika tumeungana. Afrika tumeungana. Mapinduzi ya Afrika. Mapinduzi ya Afrika.